And we're back. Hello to all my friends out there in YouTube land. For the first time in a week, it is your good buddy Philtastic Phil. Welcome back to the channel. Just had a little bit of a unexpected knock at the door and ran very quickly over. Only reason I picked it up, I thought that perhaps it was a CGC order that may or may not be on its way, and it wasn't. It was a solicitor who I was like, I can't talk to you right now. I have a live stream to do. And I think that might be the only time that guy heard that, because it was like I brought his kryptonite up. You like that, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I literally just sat down. Literally. Let's take a look at the chat here. Evil, good morning to you. I caught up reading all House and Powers, all the tie-ins. Look, I heard some Rain, but I don't see which books follows Swords of X. After Swords of X, I feel like at that point it got a little bit less connective. I think the next big crossover after that was Inferno, which was just okay in my opinion. There's the giant size books as well, which again were just okay. It meant they were supposedly, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I followed up on it. Hickman wanted to make them a little bit more connected, some big story with Storm, and I think Marvel said no, which may or may not have to do with his departure. I don't know, to be honest with you. But I do know around that point it started to get less connective, which I think worked in its favor. Heard some, and Rain I think just kind of covered a couple different books. I kind of, after Sword? No, I'm sorry, after Inferno, I kind of dropped a few titles, but we can get into that in another time. David, good morning again. I spent literally all morning running around, but also on the YouTube channels. I jumped up early and caught a little bit of Madam's stream with Mr. Gary B. Yes. Caught second half, I think, of Fanboy Primes. Was watching Brian while doing a little cooking, and now I'm here, and I'm exhausted. The espresso I had this morning is wearing off, but I did not have time to make coffee. Doug Breton, hello, sir. Matt Woods to you. I know that Isolation 4 is off to the printer, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, that is the excellent comic which Doug has wrote. I don't know. But reach out to Doug, I guess, and if you need to make some additional orders or whatnot, I think it's at soldierpublishing.com or reggiecollects.com. My chat just sprung. Let's see. People saying hi to Doug and me, and Trev is here. Hello, Trev. Will Trev win the giveaway later today? He's been on a streak. I'm actually still working on some artwork for Mr. Trev, which I'm hoping to wrap up soon. And then I'm going to send, I owe him that, and the win from 2 weeks ago. DVH, how are you, doctor? Mr. Bigger, how are you? Mr. Bigger, I've been thinking about Mr. Bigger lately because there's been a lot of DC news popping up, I think since the Flash kind of stuff. And I kept saying, oh, what's going on? Paul, how are you? Paul, I was thinking about you this morning because I needed to buy some produce, but I'm not going to the farmer's market. Just not my favorite store. DVH, I've taken delivery dresses in my full hoot cape and cowl. Got up before. They usually... Pictures or didn't happen. Let's see. Who else we got? Everybody's saying hi to each other. I liked all of this so far. Okay. Douglas. Oh, shirtless. I don't know why. Like Doug, I'm sorry, because I see Doug at the top, and then just the way it's arranged on the window, Les starts, so that's why I called you Douglas. My bad. I didn't. Maybe I tuned out that I didn't see Gary shirtless. I'm going to be honest with you. In my humble opinion, and look, you do what you want in life. I just think there's too many shirtless dudes. on our comic book community YouTube stuff. That's just my opinion, though. Like I said, if you want to take your shirt off and do whatever, that's up to you. You will not see me shirtless here. And no, I didn't prepare a song for today because, like I said, I just sat down and I want to see if there's things I could tweak. I know your earbuds are probably thanking me for that. So I was on break for a week, and let me tell you something. When I go on break, I shut down. No IG, a little bit of Facebook. That's only because we had some family events, I guess you could say, going on to it. Madam pressured him. I think I might have checked out at the right time then. No offense to Gary. I'm sure Gary is Gary. But yeah, we're keeping our shirts on. Can't say I haven't been shirtless on YouTube. I feel like you need a bumper sticker, though I don't think people do bumper stickers anymore, but maybe a t-shirt that just says, quote unquote, can't say I haven't been shirtless on YouTube. I would buy that evil. And I tend not to buy a lot of gear or merch, only if it's on a discount. I'll be honest with you. I think the only t-shirt I own right now from a YouTube person is Reggie. And I just say that because I have to tell you, this shirt is very soft and I enjoy it very much. Durs, how are you at work? I'm glad that you're working again. So I know that you told me the last I checked in, I thought you had an interview. Let's see. Cody, how are you? Curious about that DC news you mentioned. Nothing specific. It was just, I think a lot of the Flash stuff was still fresh in my mind. I know that there is a DC documentary. I remember looking at that article about a week or two ago. Like I said, I haven't been on IG at all in a week. So it's kind of like yesterday was my first day back on. So I might be behind on the news itself. There's a documentary about the making of DC Comics, or the founding of DC Comics, coming out on Max. I'm interested in seeing. And, we're going to watch Blue Beetle when it comes on, hoping that that's a good one. Are we doing shirtless YouTube now? Some have already, David. I think you know that. But no, I will remain clothed. And yes, in case you haven't heard, my little guy is here. Hey, buddy, do you want to say hi to everyone? Do you want to say hello? He got a little high, I guess. He's starting to do a little speech regression, so I'm trying to get him to talk as much as he can. Yeah, and like I'm not doing a commercial for it. I got it. I'm not talking about specifically, I guess you want to call the Reggie Robot shirts. I got them when they went on discount. Like I said, I won't pay full price for it. It's just my opinion of doing advertising for you. Give me a break or give it to me. And that's just anything in general. But yeah, I have to say that the shirt is very comfortable. I mean, that being said, there are people who I do want to, I would get shirts from, but I have a good number of shirts right now. I don't want to name anybody because I don't want people to say, well, I just want one of my shirts. But yeah, there's a couple people I've been eyeing on for shirts, kind of, I don't know, might look at something else with that later on, I guess. Let's see, just catching up on the chat. Fancy double negative way of saying you have been shirtless. There you go. Of course, the writer caught the double negative. I might be featured in a CBC. Yeah, and that's kind of like, to be honest with you, I didn't watch the full clip myself because I was like, more shirtless dudes. Perry Gaming, how are you, sir? So I'm caught up with the chat. Let me go in to tell you what, I guess a little bit more about what I did as far as on my week off. I'll be honest with you, I did nothing comic related. I haven't even watched the latest episode of Secret Invasion yet, which I am enjoying so far. It's a bit slow, a bit different. I'm not going to add anything to that conversation. I think that has not been said already. So no comics. I did some light reading, why don't we say? And I did do a bit of a purchase, and I'll show some of that off for you in a bit. I just wanted to, kind of reset, refocus. I've talking about, or I should say spoken about. See, now I'm more conscious of my words because Doug is here. Neil is here. Hey, Neil. Jimmy G and Woof Woof, how are you? Let's see here. But yeah, I've spoken about this before. I did a video on it that sometimes you just need a break to refocus and recenter. I happen to have a rare kind of thing at work. We have summer Fridays, so I'm usually wrapped up early in the afternoon, and then we were off Monday and Tuesday. So I was like, I'm just going to do a full break for now. And hey, Dale, how are you? And look, I've spoken about this before. I have a lot of things going on right now. Some stuff that we can't announce quite yet, but I'm still studying for my state insurance exams. That's going to wrap up next month. See, all of that. This is how much more I have to read, and this is what I've read. And no, I still don't feel prepared for it. I have a second book I actually have to jump into as well later on. So I have until mid-August before my access to the course runs out, and then I have to take a practice exam and then schedule my actual exam with the state. So I've been kind of studying whenever I can, but that's very tough, especially with the little guy. I have to find a quiet room. And look, I haven't studied at all since I got my master's in 2006. So it was a lot of retraining myself how to sit back and study and read. And I just find out it's tough finding just a quiet place just to focus at some points. But yeah, I didn't do anything comic related. That was my long kind of windy way of saying it. Didn't really hang out with family too much. It was just between people going away and people getting sick. We didn't want to bring the little guy around, too many sick people. So that's kind of where that is. But I will show you what I did read. I actually, and this will kind of get into what I bought a little bit on. As I was working into my reading, I realized that I was missing some parts of some of the X-Men series I've been reading. And I like to read things in order. It's my own little thing. I do have the Marvel Unlimited app, but you're 6 months behind on that, so I couldn't jump back just to read it. So I'll show you that in a little bit. So that's why I didn't read any Marvel. I have not finished or continued, I should say, with my DC app read. I forgot what it was, the medieval one. But I did jump into some independent comics. I mentioned Isolation earlier. That's an indie that I enjoy reading. This is another one, and this is not a commercial for Legacy Comics, but I did catch up on my Legacy Comics reads, which I have been talking about. And I showed this off a couple weeks ago. So I'll give you just kind of an update. I was thinking about doing a long-form video on this, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just do this instead. So first, The Job, #1. David, I have a copy of this for you. The next time you win a giveaway, you're getting one of these. I love the premise of this. My wife just came in the room. Hi, honey.
Hi.
So,
is that a movie?
Different. You're thinking of The Italian Job.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
But here, I'm going to tell you the premise, and you tell me if this is something you're interested in reading. So this is not superhero related. This is more of, if I had to say something, it'd be like a crime book. I really like this premise. It kind of reminds me like you'd see, maybe not so much a Tarantino, but maybe like a Robert Rodriguez movie based on this.
Tarantino, you're going to be losing me on.
Well, that's a discussion for another day. So this character here, I can't think of his name, but he is a wrestler. He's not
signed.
It is signed.
It says Phil.
No, Pat.
Underneath.
Yeah, no, Pete. His initials.
Oh.
Right out the door, my son. You too. You have a good week, Doug. Doug, I have to tell you, your son and I have to talk. I've been trying to get his buddy over here for some weeding, and it's been hit or miss. That's another discussion. So yeah, here's The Job, #1. So this guy's a wrestler. He is a jobber. You know what a jobber means in wrestling? It means it's not like your top tier guy. It's like, here's the guy that comes out. They want everybody to wrestle and they want everybody to beat just to kind of build a name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's his day job. right? And he's maybe not too satisfied with that. But as a professional wrestler, they have to travel often. So what he and his wife do while on the road is that they rob banks. So she stakes out the places. He goes in his wrestling garb and actually robs them. I shouldn't say his wrestling garb. Hey, Zach. But in like a luchador kind of mask. I really like the premise. This was the first issue. Art. This is written by Patrick Hickey Jr., whom I've interviewed before. You could catch that in my videos here. Art by Steve Conge, who Reggie fans might know him. He did cover of Isolation. I like the artwork. It kind of reminds me of something you would see almost like out of a video game.
Yeah.
But a little bit better done. Like I was going to say out of like a Tekken, but it's more technical than that. Great artwork. I like the writing on it. The story itself, to be honest with you, it looks like towards the end, and I'm not going to show you the picture of the ending. It feels like it's kind of coming a little bit, like the guy might be getting found out a little bit sooner than I would have wanted or would have appreciated. But yeah, there's only one issue so far. The second issue, I think they are keeping, they're doing pre-orders for now. But I enjoyed it. That's the job. It's from Legacy Comics. If you want to check any of these out, by the way, it's Legacy Comics, spelled COMIX.com. You can get them digitally or in print. And just tell them that that you heard it from me. I don't get anything. They don't get anything. I think it's just nice to acknowledge that. Is that something you're interested in based on the description, honey?
Maybe.
That's a maybe. Okay. Okay. The next one is Kroom Redux, number 0, flashy cover. I should mention this. There's another Redux in here as well. The Legacy, a lot of their 0, I think all of their 0 issues was that number 1 for the job. Yes, it was, Zach. I'll be honest with you. You get a 0. It's 8 pages long, so it's a quick read. And it's just some background information, basically. And I kind of like that they redid this. Kroom, it's an okay premise. Something about, I think, an alien takeover. Some professor builds this, excuse me, super savior, and it's Kroom. I forgot what it stands for. Artwork is good on it. It's just a taste of a story, I'll be honest with you. Not my favorite, but I like that he went back and reattempted it. What are your thoughts, honey? I know it wasn't a great description from what I said, but I'm hoping that there's some better things that we see when there's a long form story. I feel like the pieces are in place. They just got to put the puzzle together. So we'll see that. Legacy Condry number 0. Again, this is a reprinting of Condry 0, but a little bit flashier. I like the cover on that. I've been really liking Condry. And there's, I mean, spoiler, the others are Condry books here. The first 2 to 3 issues, you think that you're reading a Sin City type of story. It's something different. I'll say that. It kind of threw me for a loop. I'm not going to spoil it. A little bit more, I don't really know what the word is. I don't want to say Spawn. More of like a King Arthur type, not a King Arthur, excuse me, a St. George type of story. That's what I'm guessing because we don't have the full story yet. If you are going to get something from Legacy Comics, I do recommend Condry. You can't go wrong with that. And I love the logo on this one. Just the Brooklyn Bridge. A lot of Legacy stuff, with the exception of Kroom and Legend of the Night Owl, comes to mind, are based in Brooklyn. That's where Pat is from. I also read Condry issues 4. And this is Pat Hickey Jr. writing again, and Kieran Quinn on art. Quillen, number 4 and number 5. And again, I ordered these, and Pat just signed them. I didn't ask for them or anything like that, but that's legacycomics.com. And this is where you kind of get that it's a different type of story altogether. More, not supernatural, but just really good and really interesting. And these are the kind of indie books I think we should all be looking at and absorbing. And I do love, the covers on these are great. Which one do you like better? I'm kind of partial to the stained glass one, but this one is just so nice too. What are your thoughts, honey?
Yeah, that's stained glass.
And the last of the what I read pile, it's the Condrey one-shot, Young Condrey When Willie Met Spike. Whenever there's prequels, and obviously this is a prequel, you good, pal? Mm-hmm. You want to say hi? This is a prequel comic, and the issue I usually have with prequel comics and with I've had Zach's comment up there for a while. Sorry. The issue I typically have with prequel comics and prequels in general, whether they be TV series or films, is that I feel like a lot of the time it might not be something that's necessary. Like, does this enrich the story at any point? Is this a story that needs to be told, or could this just remain in the background? Usually, it's something that needs to remain in the background. This is kind of a rarity where this does add to the story, and it adds a whole nother layer to Condrey, and it makes sense that it came out now after the 4th and 5th issues, because you are delving more into those supernatural type of things here. And I really like this. It's a different artist on this. I'll open it up and just show you inside. Booth. I don't know Booth off the top of my head, but it's not Brett Booth. One thing I have to mention, by the way, too, is that the paper quality is superior to what I've come across in the case of like a Marvel or really a Marvel. I haven't really read paper DC in a while. I've been reading most of my DC online. Artwork here is different. I like it, but in some cases, it just seems a little awkward. No problem, fanboy. But it really gives you background on this character. And then you have, I'll be honest with you, here's a character that we know little to nothing about. This is the first time he appears. So I guess, if Condrey were to take off and they become a series, a TV or movie series or something like that, this is the key issue, I guess, to that respect. The only thing I'll say about this, the first couple issues of Condrey, I think specifically the first 3 and this, it gets a little depressing just when you see what's the background of the character is and whatnot. I do recommend checking it out, though. I did enjoy it. Again, that's Young Condrey, When Willie Met Spike. And again, that's everything I read. But now I will show you. In fact, why don't we do this? I'm going to do the giveaway. Then I'm going to show you what I bought. And then we'll pick out who wins. When I say do the giveaway, I mean the giveaway password, whatever you want to say. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books that I've pre-selected. Hey, Comic Cap, how are you? Hey, buddy. Matthew, you good? Okay, so so I've pre-selected 5 books. If I could fit more in the, I think I still have some Gemini mailers left. If I could fit more in, I'll throw another one in here. But I'll show off what it is before. I just can't haul the big comic box of giveaways upstairs, and I've been liking doing the show here rather than in my office. So that's why we're here. So let's do hashtag. Let's do hashtag indie. I'll show you that in a second. So if you want to win, do hashtag indie, INDIE, and you will be entered. Oh, hopefully I didn't just lose it. Let's see. Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. In fact, oh, hold on. Did I lose the chat? Okay, good. I do have entries coming in. All right, I'm going to plug that a couple times too, and then, like I said, at the end of the show, we'll actually do the drawing. Okay, so here is what I bought. All of these books, by the way, you might say, hey, I thought you weren't really buying things off of your pulls. These are things that I'm going to say should be in my pull box, but for whatever reason didn't get there. Maybe I told my LCS late. Maybe my LCS was just a little bit lax. Yeah, I'm going to go with, I think that the, what was that big truck accident a couple months ago, as a result of that, where the Marvel books didn't get delivered. Maybe that's why I didn't get these, but I will show you. So I had to do a little purchasing basically from other sources. And this is from Midtown. And I like Midtown. This, I should have done just an unboxing, but it came shipped a lot better than they typically have done. And I like that they come bagged and board. So I'll be showing you what I picked up. So we have Bishop War College #2. I now have the whole War College series, I believe, so I can sit down and read that. Excuse me. Grab some water so I don't choke in front of everybody here. Okay. I'll come back to these ones. Catwoman. This is #24. My wife stepped out of the room, or else I would show her these. This is the Jungan Yoon. We'll just say the Yoon. How about that? This is the Yoon variant. And look, I've just come to the point where I understand if I buy a Catwoman book, it's a covered buy. Though I'll say that last issue I reviewed, I think 2 weeks ago, which had the Jim Lee tribute, I guess you could say. Oh, Jimmy G. Yeah, Jimmy G, by the way, I'm going to interrupt myself for a second. He had to relaunch his channel after some YouTube, I can't say the word I want to do, but let's just say YouTube mix-up. So it helped him rebuild his channel. He's only at 32 now. Go ahead and give Jimmy a sub. And by a sub, I mean a subscription, not a sandwich if you're from the Northeast like I am. All the hype. Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been running into as well. I'll be honest with you. Evil, you just reminded me. If anybody has an extra copy of the Free Comic Book Day X-Men, I haven't heard of boondoggle before, but you know what? It's one of my new favorite words now, Zach. So thank you for that, boondoggle. If anybody has an extra copy of that they would trade for or whatnot, let me know. I do need mods. I don't know how to do that, Trev. So Catwoman 24, cover by. If you have a Free Comic Book Day, extra Free Comic Book Day copy again of X-Men Avengers from this past year, I'd like to trade, or we can do some sort of a deal. This is the one thing that is not in my pulls normally. This is Captain America #705. We're #1 from the current volume. And this is the David Mack variant. I just really like this one. I'm a huge David Mack fan. I had to fight off FOMO big time this week, I'll be honest with you. I was considering getting the David Mack, and I forgot who he did it with, but they had a Kickstarter for their Marvel art book. Oh, Evil, I appreciate that. Yeah, let me know. Message me afterwards. I appreciate that as well, David. I really liked this cover. And I really like David Mack's work. So that, and I successfully fought off the FOMO, by the way. I did not fund the Kickstarter. I kept that money in my pocket. And at the end of the day, it was like, look, I do have art books, and I like art books. But, I get the same pleasure from looking at the picture online than I do owning the book. That's my way of looking at it. Catwoman #10, and this is the Art Germ variant. This is really nice. Here, I'll take it out so you get a better look at it here. Sorry, I thought my little guy threw up for a second. He didn't. It's stacking cups. But yeah, really gorgeous cover. Okay, and now we're getting to Galaxy User Keyboard, remote ask you to my phone. Oh yeah, I have to. I have to do that. You know what? I'll have to do that off when the show's over at some point. I just, when I'm off of this show, I like to take a little bit of a break, so I have to remember to do that. Immortal X-Men number 10. I still need the Noto variant. I've been collecting those Noto variants. What is your thought on this cover, honey? What are you hearing?
It's nice.
You know
Really?
the characters?
X-Men.
Professor Xavier, honey. While you were gone, by the way, I showed off. These are Catwoman covers. How do you like this one? Wait.
It's okay.
Okay. What about this one? This is an art germ.
I like that one.
You like that one?
I like Art Germ's artwork.
Oh, see, she's picking up on names. I like that. That's a good thing then. So I was showing that these are books that I had to pick up because my LCS, for whatever reason,
I remember you telling me.
failed to. Okay, and this was the Immortal X-Men number 1. This was the women's history variant. In case you haven't been here before, I typically let's see. You good? You having a little bit of a meltdown? Peekaboo. Okay. He'll be quiet for a little bit, maybe. I usually don't do like when they have like a Women's History Month or something about a cause, only because I feel like if they are, if they're saying, hey, this is for Women's History Month, any money they should make from that, they should donate, or at least a portion to that cause. Buddy, give me like 10 more minutes. So this is the Emma Frost as Queen Elizabeth Women's History Month variant. What do you think of this one? He just stood up. That's fine. Any thoughts?
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty. Who's the artist on this? Emanuela Lupacchino. I'm not familiar with it. I like it. And I should also say that one of the reasons I bought on this too is that Midtown had a very good 4th of July sale. These were like $2 a piece. I missed what you said, Mike, so I don't think I'll be selling Get Rid of Woman Marvel, not the 90s stuff, just the modern stuff. Yeah, I have no offense to that. That's fine. And at the end of the day, it's your collection. You curate it as what you want. Yeah, he stood up for the Queen. But let me know, Evil, because maybe there's some things in there I might be looking at. Okay. Immortal X-Men number 11. This is the Mark Brooks cover. I love Mark Brooks.
That's nice.
It's nice. This is also the big picture I have above my desk, the same artist.
Yeah.
What do you think, buddy? You didn't like this one as much. And this is the Noto head variant. I'm collecting all the Noto variants. I have all of them right now except for 10. You like that one a lot. Okay, good. I like a Mel Brooks variant of something. I would too, Zach, very much. All events need dark web. I didn't follow dark web at all, and to be honest with you, from all the reviews I've seen online, I think I kind of dodged a bullet with that. The last thing I got, speaking of indie books earlier, this was a title that I actually learned about from Indie Comics and Indie Comics Review. I love the show him and Marcus do after Reggie. I typically don't catch it live. I usually watch it the next day just because after Reggie's Wednesday show, look, I got things to do around here. But I do try to watch it at least, the next day or the day after or so. And that was Art Brut. And I had picked up issue 2 and 4. So now I have numbers 1 and 3. This is the second printing of number 1. Different kind of story. What are your thoughts on this, honey?
It's okay. It's a little too busy in the back.
That's the point, though. It's supposed to be about a different kind of art style. Like each one, this is the second printing, I should say. Each style is supposed to be like each issue is supposed to be like different style of a different artist. Um, let's see. Mel Brooks, the variant. I love it. I always thought that they should have done Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2. Would have been funny. And then this is Art Brut number 3. So these are the last of the Art Bruts that I needed, so I could sit down and read all of those as well. Kind of a basic cover, but I enjoy this. Again, it's all supposed to work with this particular style of the famous artist. This is more of a modern art. You could see from
What does
there.
that say?
I don't speak French.
Oh, that's what that is?
Well, it says, does anybody here speak French? Let's see. Cici Nest un comic book. I guess this is a comic book. I don't know. I'll have to use the Google Translate at some point. So again, hashtag indie to win the stack of 5 comics, maybe more if I could fit it. That's everything I purchased. So I will give everybody, let's say, 20 more seconds in case you haven't done it again. Hashtag indie, INDIE. Other things I wanted to mention, going back to what I was talking about with the Women's History Month, by the way, I did catch something on Facebook just before coming up here, where I saw the Wounded Warrior Project is actually working with Marvel, and this is an example of something Marvel could do right by these variants. If you make like a $25 donation, they give you a limited run Marvel comic. And it's not a name series, it's just something that's created just for that fundraiser. But look, if they're putting money towards a good cause like that, I get it. I understand it. I would feel good about that purchase. Okay, last call. Hashtag indie. I'm going to take my sip of water, and then we're going to go from there. Anything that we have planned for the channel? I have a bunch of ideas, but nothing filmed. We should do another unboxing, I think, right after this is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on some artwork. I don't know if it'll be ready to view this week. I have the thing I'm working on for Trev, which I will send to Trev first before showing off, and only with his permission. And just another project I was working on, and I'm not quite done with in my time off.
You say you're going to do something with Chad.
Yeah, I don't know about doing anything with Chad. My wife just brought up Chad. And, it kind of came to me, too. And actually, I'll talk about this afterwards because I should do the drawing now because I've been saying I'll do the drawing. So we're going to draw the winner. 5 books, which I will show off to you. And again, if I could fit more in the book, I certainly will do it. We're waiting for a winner. Mr. Zach. Zach, you are the big winner. So Zach, go ahead and on the Instagram machine or whatnot, message me your details and I will get these off to you. So let me show you what you've won. Okay, and I try to do a mix. It is going to be a little bit more Marvel just because that's more of what I have in the box. Marvel Comics presents Cyclops number 22. And these are the old Marvel Comics presents. So this is only half the story. This is the half that you can see here. I was working on a full run of Marvel Comics presents. I still am, but not as hard. So this is a duplicate that I have. And this one actually looks like it's in pretty decent shape. Maybe a small spine tick. But that's pretty much it. This is one somebody gave to me, and I don't read Walking Dead. So here's the Walking Dead Deluxe, number 59. Very cool cover. I like that kind of in the background type of thing. Tomei, number 3. So we went indie on that one. Another Marvel comic. This is Ghost Rider. I forgot what volume this is. This is from 92. Number 30. Art by Andy Kubert and, if you look closer, Joe Kubert. So very cool. And Catwoman, number 45. This is Is this a Frisian? I don't think it's a Frisian. I forgot who did this cover, but it is from the current run, a variant, and that is cool. Zach, that's your cover now, the Ghost Rider. So yes, that is a cool one. So Zach, again, message me with your details. These will be on their way to you some point this week. I usually try to ship out by Wednesday. It is Frisian. That's what it looked like. It usually, I don't know why I didn't catch your signature on it. She usually does. Oh, I'm thinking of Bartel. That's why. Never mind. Yeah. In Frisian, by the way, she's doing a CGC signing. So yeah, Zach. I mean, this one is actually in pretty decent shape. This is one I just had a duplicate of. So if you like this cover that much, I don't think there might be a slight scratch. Oh no, that's on the bag. Never mind. Yeah, so this might be a good candidate for a signature. You're right, Dale. Her art is her signature. yeah, no, she's doing a CGC signing. I think it was just announced yesterday, so that is a good one for you. I'm waiting for my Alex Ross CGC signing submission to get back. They've had a good number of signings jump up, but I have avoided. Like Frank Cho is supposed to do one. He said it's been delayed, but CGC has not said anything about that yet. But even then, I was like, okay, well, I'll hold off. Neil Gaiman is doing a CGC signing. Then I saw how much it was, and I was like, no thanks, Neil. I'm just going to take a gamble and try to get one of your books next time you're in an airport. If you follow Neil Gaiman online, when he travels out of an airport, we'll go to the bookstore, sign some of the books, and put them back on the shelf. So I figured that'd be a little cool. Oh yeah. Okay. So going back to Chad, I'm trying to really figure out more of content that I want to do. You know, we all have videos that everybody does. Everybody does unboxings. Everybody does their own kind of hot take on a particular comic or topic or an issue, and I like those. I think a large number of people do interviews, which, by the way, we're going to come back to 7-minute stories at some point. I'm taking a little break from that, probably, I'm going to guess until the fall, just to kind of line up with some of the stuff that we're working on. I think that'll make it easier. But my wife and I will discuss that a little bit more as far as time goes, because when I do one of those interviews, it does take time away. Although I think in certain cases, like if we were to do a 7-minute stories with Madam, I think we could just do it up here because I don't think she would mind. And I don't think anybody would mind at that point, the little guy making noise in the background, as he does every week. But, also timing is an issue because it can infringe upon our mealtime, his bedtime. That's, that's why I haven't really been doing it too much. I don't know that I'm going back to doing characters because to me, first of all, it takes a lot of energy to do a video. I feel like it takes more energy to do a character. And, I like to think in addition, you want to do characters, buddy? I like to think of, I like to think that I could offer more than doing a character. And I've kind of played around with the notion on a couple occasions, just more specifically with Chad, because I don't like doing Chad. If anything, I think it's more because I think when you connect to a character, can I finish, buddy? I promise. I'm almost done. I like to think that I have something more to offer than a character, because at some point I think you're also, when you have a character, you base it on a part of, in the case of Chad, yourself that you really don't like, and of course it's a cartoon pretty much. So no, I'm not just like Chad, but there's a part of us, I think, inside of all of us that have always been like, oh, that was awkward. And that's kind of what I draw from Chad. But I've had a couple ideas where I'm like, this could work, but I really don't want to do it. yeah, if I come across an idea with Chad or with another character that I realistically want to do, maybe I'll do it. But like I said, I'm trying to get away from characters myself. So I'm just going back to some of the comments here. Not a huge fan of interviews from writers or artists. YouTubers, heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I do interviews, I've only done a handful. 7-Minute Stories Evil, if you're unfamiliar, is basically I'll invite another YouTube person, or really, I haven't, well, no, I shouldn't even say YouTube person because I had Sean on, and that was a fun one from my LCS, from Fat Moose Comics, called 7-Minute Stories, where you tell your collecting story in about 7 minutes or less. I've had a couple people actually in the chat now on it, and it's something I do want to get back to again. It's just been my schedule here, between my son and, again, studying for my exams and just other stuff. Mr. Bigger, no problem. Thank you for coming in, sir. Yeah, and look, I mean, Lord willing, my studying should be done by the end of next month. I have to pass the test. That's just kind of how it is, and I could get back to that stuff. I mean, I haven't really interviewed anybody famous. Pat Hickey Jr. from Legacy. Yeah, but I don't know. I thought that was an interesting one. I also kind of feel a certain way. Like I think Bueller put it out this week. He's like, look, if any YouTubers have any time, like he gave a range of dates, let me know. We could do an interview or something. I'm kind of like, well, I don't want to interview somebody and be like, oh, you're the 8th person to interview me. I'll give you an example. Occasionally I'll have people send me indie comics. That's how I found Pat Hickey. Hey, Scotty, how are you, sir? I actually had a question for you, Scotty. I'm going to see if I remember to message you on it. I have to remember what the question was. Because it's a bit of a sensitive question regarding somebody that I knew. That's why I don't want to address it here. But yeah, I had something where an indie person sent me a copy of their book. I read the book. I wasn't crazy about it. When it comes to indie comics, if I get them, I'll just say that I got it. If I like it, I'll tell you about it. If I don't, I won't talk about it. To me, if I'm saying I don't like a major Marvel or DC book, that's one thing. Indie, I think bad about doing that, only because in many of these cases, like, look, these are things that these people put their own money and their own time and effort into. I don't want to tear them down just because I didn't care for it. But I was going to interview the person just because there was some questionable things in the books that I had some good questions on. And it turns out, like, before I contacted them, they were on another channel, and it was like, oh, these are the questions I would have asked. So I really can't add to this conversation. So why would I? I don't want to basically flood YouTube with stuff that you've seen before. If I interview somebody, I like to think that I'm taking a different or unique kind of approach to it. But that's just my point of view. And I've rambled enough, I think, on that one. So I think on that note, I've been babbling for almost 50 minutes now. I'm about done with my stuff. I appreciate you guys coming here today. You will see some more stuff up here this week. Again, my little hiatus is over. Anything anybody wants to plug? I know Jimmy G has his eBay store. Something about Evil here. I find that YouTubers don't really talk about comics a whole lot. One of the things I enjoy about your show is that you talk about the books you've read. Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, Ben, thank you for mentioning Evil. I think it's important to, if you're going to have a comic channel, bring up comics. And that's not to say if you have a comic channel, you don't talk about that, because we talk about other things all the time, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I like to think that I give you sort of a unique take. I try to stay spoiler-free. I think I'm pretty good about that. Oh, yeah, Zach, I think I did see your message. I'll take a look at that later. Yeah, but you know what? At the same time, I think life is too short sometimes for meh. But that's just me. All right, so I will give you guys back 10 minutes or so until whoever comes on next. I know there's a lot of people on Saturdays. But I appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your day. You know. Thanks again for watching. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.